I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about that.
This One's Wife. Harry's bid for freedom? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Matt Jackson, writing in the Express newspaper, explains anxious Prince Harry planning month-long UK visit to face royals without this one's wife? Really? Could it be? Is this Harry seeking a bid for freedom? Let's find out what is purportedly taking place. Prince Harry is anxiously planning a month-long trip to the United Kingdom to visit his family without this one's wife, insiders claim. The 39-year-old is said to be keen to reconnect with the royal family, and a month-long trip would help him spend more time with his father, King Charles, and aunt, Princess Anne. They say it would also give him an opportunity to meet his friends back home. However, with this one's wife set to officially launch her American Riviera orchard brand this summer, the insiders say she is likely to remain in the United States. Since the Duke and Duchess of Sussex quit life as working royals and moved their family to Montecchio in 2020, this one's wife has only sporadically returned to the United Kingdom. Harry, meanwhile, has visited solo, most recently for the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. Speaking to Closer, a source said, Harry is going to have to return to the United Kingdom solo, as it makes sense for him to take a longer trip. He's convinced that if he spends a longer period of time there, he'll have a better chance to reconnect with his family. The insider says there is talk of a month where Harry would be in the United Kingdom and this one's wife would be back in the United States with children Archie 5 and 3-year-old Lilibert. They say this one's wife is respectful of Harry's desire to return home to his family, but has too much on her plate to visit. Has the wheel of excuses been spun there? They also claim that this one's wife fears she would be heckled should he return to the United Kingdom. This one's wife recently finished filming on her Netflix cookery show, as well as preparing her brand launch. Harry, however, is said to be keen to mend his relationship with his family. It is said his explosive memoir, Spare, the Netflix series the Sussexes filmed in the interview with Oprah Winfrey, strained their relationship with the firm. The insiders said Harry is very anxious to go home and see his dad, catch up with his friends for his birthday in September, and also pay a visit to his aunt, Princess Anne. While Harry remains estranged from his family, he did make a 26-hour flying visit back home after learning the king was diagnosed with cancer. He also attended the coronation last May without his immediate family. Well, this is what has been suggested, that Harry would like to come back, and he'd like to come back for a month. That he would have a month away from his handler, so that he could sit down and have a chat with Pa. No mention of Prince William, note. That he could see Princess Anne, who would probably be likely to pull his pants down and give his body a damn good spanking for being a naughty ginger. That he might get out to Bonkers Night Spot with some of his old friends if they can still tolerate him, and perhaps chow down on a kebab from Abracadabra. But is this plausible? Is it plausible that Harry would be given dispensation by this one's wife, because that's what he would need in order to return to the United Kingdom for a month? Well, we know that this one's wife has no desire to return to the United Kingdom. There is nothing that her narcissism sees as being of such a benefit to her that she should run the risk of the disapproval that she would receive were she to come to the United Kingdom. It remains the case that her narcissism directs her to stay away because of the perception of a hostile media, a hostile royal family, and a hostile populace. Thus, the narcissism perceives a particular threat to her control, and she asserts control by staying away from it. The third assertion of control. And so far, there doesn't appear to be anything that would shift that stance. Therefore, she isn't going to come to the United Kingdom. But what about Harry? It would be clear that Harry desires a visit. He would want to because he does miss his family despite the way that he's behaved, that he would like to come back to the country that he grew up in. Indeed, it would also provide him with some respite from the sustained devaluation that he experiences in relation to his wife. But the fact is, whilst this one's wife allowed him to pop back for 26 hours and a short visit in relation to the coronation, she will have been in repeated radio contact with him, i.e. hoovering him by telephone, with calls and text messages, but also she would not be able to tolerate the fact of him being away for a month. The only circumstances where one could envisage that that would be allowable would be, one, they actually have separated, and what we see when they are together is just a business arrangement. To my mind, I don't think that really sits, not yet at least. But do you disagree? Do you think that they're actually separated, and that when they do come together, all you're seeing is a business arrangement in order to maintain the brand, and that they have been separated for some time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. If they have been separated, then in the circumstances it would be easier for Harry to come to the United Kingdom and to do so for a month, because this one's wife wouldn't be asserting control over him as a consequence of the separation that has occurred. Alternatively, it could be that he would be placed in such devaluing behaviour that he basically thinks, fuck this shit for a laugh, I'm off, and he departs. He would face, of course, furious hoovers from her as she would seek to assert control over him and would face various threats, but there is the possibility that it's the straw that breaks the camel's back and he decides, actually, I'm just going to go, and to hell with the consequences. I don't see either of those scenarios as being the more likely. I think in actuality that this is just PR that's being pumped out by the Sussexes to try and suggest that they are willing, through Harry, for there to be a resumption of good relations in order to try and coax an invitation out of the royal family, because they are desperate to re-establish connections with them for the purposes of securing money, which of course is a residual benefit. I don't think that Harry intends to come for a month, quite simply because, one, there's no guarantee that anybody would want to spend any time with him because of the way that he and his wife have behaved and the no-contact regime that has been implemented towards her by members of the royal family. Thus, he could spend a lot of time hanging around in hotel rooms on his own for that month and not really seeing anybody because they don't want to spend time with him. It's rather a gamble, is it not, on his part? More likely, this is an attempt to try and curry some favour, to suggest, hey, I'm willing to come over for a month, I'd really like to see you guys. Give me a sign that that's a good thing to do. Show us that we can still get back in with you guys. And I see that's what it is. It's a manipulation towards the royal family to try and cultivate good relations with them. Ordinarily, on the basis that the relationship still persists, and I believe that it does, between Harry as the intimate partner, primary source of the narcissist that is this one's wife, she wouldn't let him out of her sight for a month. She would go with him if he was to tour anywhere. She needs to keep an eye on him, and even though he's in sustained devaluation, he still serves some use to her. She will still draw fuel from him. She still needs to control him. She wouldn't allow him the freedom of doing what he wanted for a month. And therefore, as a combination of the fact that she is a narcissist is highly unlikely to let him off the leash for that amount of time. Also, Harry will probably forget to wipe his bottom and how to drink from his beaker without Mummy giving him instructions. But moreover, I see this as quite clearly a PR tactic to try and curry favour with the royal family as part of the overall attempt of the Sussexes to inveigle their way back in. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.